Welcome to the Clear Brand Academy podcast, where we take the mystery out of marketing and help you get more leads and sales with a clear brand and proven marketing tactics. I'm your host, Alexander Toth, and I'm joined by my co-host, Josh Ramsey.
Welcome to the Clear Brand Academy podcast, where we take the mystery out of marketing and help you get more leads and sales with a clear brand and proven marketing tactics. I'm your host, hijacking the show for today, Josh Ramsey. And today we are talking to Shondell Varciana, who's the owner of Varci Media, which is a content writing company that helps financial institutions save time by writing content that speaks to their target audience. Shondell and her team transform their clients' blogs into solution providers for their customers. Welcome, Shondell.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's so wonderful to have you on the show. And I'm so interested to learn from you. I kind of consider these podcasts as a bit of a private coaching session. That's how I approach them. I've got this copywriting expert. I'm going to learn from you, pick your brain. And firstly, you got a bit of a background in finance and, mortgaging and that kind of space and banking. So you've been on two sides of this space. Tell me about your journey to launching Varci Media. What was that like? How did it happen?
Yeah, so my career started in Canada, actually. I started working in banking very young, like at 18.
Wow.
And I think I was still in high school or maybe just finishing. Yeah, I was pretty young when I started in banking and just worked my way up. And I started buying property very young. So I bought my first property when I was 20 and my second property when I was 25. And then I paid both mortgages off by 31. And I told maybe a handful of people. And my girlfriend just went bonkers. And she was like, how on earth did you pay off your mortgages in such a short period of time? And, I told her, and honestly, because I'd been in the banking world for so long, it really wasn't that difficult because I just kind of knew what to do because I was in it every day. So I told her what I did. And she was like, you have to help people to do the same thing.
I was going to say, are we going to send the TED Talk in the show notes for these young people out there? When I think of myself, when I was 18, I was not thinking about the responsibility of taking on a home and paying it off. So, I'm curious about what kind of mindset you had at 18. But
I could share all of that. Goodness. That was just, you know what? That whole journey actually started from when I was 12. I promised my mom that I would retire her. So this ambition and stuff came from that. She was a single mom, raised two kids. Wow. My brother's 7 years older. So at 12, I had told her, I'm gonna retire you. And 2011, I was able to retire her.
Hey,
so
come on.
That's how that kind of journey began with me wanting to buy real estate and getting into it. Paying off the mortgages kind of came. I don't know if you're probably familiar with Dave Ramsey. He's out of Tennessee, but he teaches this whole get out of debt. And I was a part of his program for years. And I even taught his whole program at my church. I used to teach classes. Yeah, like that. That's kind of how it evolved. So I was a part of his baby steps. I finished all of his baby steps. I was featured on his show too.
Oh, great.
I was on his show as well. But that's kind of how that came. Really just to pay off the mortgages. I just made additional payments and I put extra money on my mortgage every single year. Every single year I was putting extra money on my mortgage and I doubled up my payments every single year.
Wow.
In 11 years it got paid off. So anyways, when I finished paying off my mortgage, my girlfriend suggested that I help people do the same thing. And I didn't know, I thought, great idea, but I didn't know what to do. And she said, you should blog. And I didn't even know what a blog was at the time. And she's very tech savvy and told me exactly how to do it, what to do. So that's what I started doing. I started blogging and my blog got really popular. I really wanted people to understand the mind of a lender because I was a lender. I've been an underwriter. I've been an MLO. I've done all of that. I wanted people to get into the mind of a lender and how we as lenders look at customers when they're coming to ask for
money. How you make that assessment. You've got a stack of papers on your desk this big. Everybody's looking for a loan. How do you make that risk assessment? What are the flags?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was really giving people that information, as well as I was on the other side of the fence because I was buying property.
Yeah.
So I was giving them both sides of the fence, and my blog started to get popular, and I started getting recognized by Red. I did an interview with Red Book magazine. Radio station started contacting me, and then that led to working with a lady by the name of Gail Vazoxlade. She's the Susie Orman, but of Canada. So she had like 3 television shows at the time, and I started doing work with her. And once I started doing work with her, companies started contacting me, asking me to write for them. And I still had my full-time job at the time. So my he's my husband now, but my boyfriend at the time suggested that, why don't you just hire some people to help you? Like, I don't come from this whole entrepreneur business back. I do not have people in my family and in my circle that have businesses. So that never even occurred to me. So when he said that, I thought, wow, I could do that. Like, why not just hire some writers? Because I couldn't handle all the work I was getting. So that's what I did. I started hiring writers. And then before I knew it, this business was paying me more than my full-time job.
Wow.
So I quit and I moved to Atlanta, and here we are today.
Wow. That is so interesting. Okay. Well, listen, as I said, I'm so excited to get into the mind of this copywriting machine, how it works. So let's say, for example, let's say you just hired me. You just hired me, I'm new to Varci Media. I'm sitting down and you've got, how does it work? I'm looking at a blank Google Doc in front of me, or Word, whatever it is, and I need to write a blog. What happens now? How do you coach me? How do I approach this? What? Yeah.
So before we even start writing for any of our clients, we get a lot of information about them up front. So we do like a 7-page client content brief.
Oh, wow.
So really it gets a lot of background into who they are, what do they represent, what message are they wanting to give to their target audience. Then we have to get to know who their target audience is, so we could bridge the gap between what they have in terms of products and what their target audience wants, because all we're doing is bridging the gap. So we really get a lot of information up front. After we get that information, we do editorial calendars. So we do calendars for all of our clients. So we come up with topics for like the next year. So they know what's going to be on their calendar for the next year. We come up with enough topics up front, they approve them, then we start writing. So we come up with topics and outlines. So the clients approve all of that before we even start writing. So by the time and you as the writer would be coming up with the topics. Now, it would be easier.
What is that? What's that based on? How are you making?
That's based on the client content brief, all of the information the 7-page information that we got. In there, we were also asking them, so who are they focused on? Like who are their target audiences that they're focused on? And what do they want to know? Because the topics are only based on what they want to know. Like, what are they talking about?
What the target audience wants to know. Yeah.
Yes. What are their pain points? What are they complaining about? What questions are they asking? Those are what the topics are always going to be about. That's it. It's not about what's trending. It's not about what we think is important. It's what is, because all you're doing with content is bridging the gap between the products you have and what it is your clients want. That's it. That's it. You're helping them get from A to B. So if they're trying to buy their first home, how can we help them get there? Why aren't they able to get into their first home? Is their credit score too low? Let's write an article on how to increase your credit score. Do they need more money? Let's help them out on different ways that they can make extra money so that they have more of a down payment. So really, whatever that gap is, and so you would know all of that because we would have gotten all that information. You as a writer would know all
me
of
as
that.
a writer, not as a business development manager at clearbrand.com and podcast host. Okay, cool. So I mean, that's really interesting because it's got this angle of the user, right? It's the user intention around the content. They're trying to solve a problem. Is there a optimizing for Google? Is there a searching on what people are looking for? Is there that side of the kind of the tech side of it? Is that involved at all?
Absolutely. So Oftentimes when we come in, because we're coming in as ghostwriters, we're not an SEO agency.
Yeah.
So either the institutions already are doing SEO, so they're giving us the keywords, or we have partnered with a search engine optimization company that they've hired, as well as they've hired us as a writing company, and then we're talking to them in terms of keywords. We'll organically add the keywords in there. They'll do their SEO thing.
Yeah, they'll do their thing. Don't mess with my copy too much.
Yes. So they'll let us know. So we'll organically add the keywords. Some of the some of our clients are actually, it's just for educational purposes. They've already established a brand in their local area, so they're not so focused on SEO. So they're mainly just educating. They just need consistent content. So they're very familiar with who their audience is, and they tell us exactly what they want us to write, and we write it. That's the flip side if we're not so focused on the SEO.
There's a couple of things I want to unpack in what you just said, but the first thing is just that simplicity of the function. That this content is to build a bridge from where your prospect customer is and what they want, the problem that they're trying to solve.
Exactly.
The second piece I thought was really interesting. You do a calendar year, and I think this says something about the relationships and your understanding of how long it takes to kind of. How would you define it? And I think that's something that I'd like to dig into as well, is the definitions of this marketing terminology, because some people would say build a relationship with customers, others would say build value with customers. How do you define it? What is the reason behind this year-long commitment? Is that your minimum kind of commitment with the client?
Our commitment is 1 year, but building value is what builds the relationship. Right. So they're intertwined. They're together. You can't really do one without the other. If you are giving people what they want, the only way you can give people what they want is to get to know them. You have to get to know your audience, because that's the only way you can give them what they want is by asking the right questions, is by getting to know them. Right. If I'm going to buy you a gift, I'm going to have to know what you like in order to buy you gift. And in order for me to know that, we will have to have some kind of relationship. I have to know you to a certain degree to know, okay, you're gonna like this, or you're not gonna like it. So and that comes with time. That comes with content is a long game, because it's not and it also depends on where the client is when it comes to their target audience. Are they just starting to target this new demographic? Have they been building relationships with them all along? Because with our clientele, they need to be a part of the journey, because they can have a client from 18 until retirement. So you need to be a part of their journey. You can have a client from, when they open up their first credit card, get their car loan, get a mortgage, set up, investments. I mean, there's the whole gamut of products, but the goal is to find out what your target audience wants and give it to them through your content, so that they come back to you and buy your services or your product.
Can you unpack for me a little bit around how you get that information? So I'd imagine, I've got my kind of techie system brain, SEO brain of which blogs are getting more engagement, shares. So there's that feedback, which is useful. Do you actively, survey these readers? Are there any other systems that you use to kind of get inside the head of that reader to find out what they like and want?
We don't actually do the work on getting to know their customer.
It's all based on that upfront kind of. Yes. Based on the information we get. Now, there's many ways, because we do consulting as well. So in helping our clients, if they don't know how to go and go after and get their clients, or find out exactly what their target audience wants. So just some things that I would suggest is you've got to show up where they are. In order to find out what it is they want, you have to show up where they are. So if they are in Facebook groups, you need to be a fly on the wall in those Facebook groups consistently and listen to what they're talking about. And you need to be in there like daily. 20 minutes, I say, spend 10, 20 minutes in there per day, and just be a fly on the wall and listen to what your target audience is talking about. There are Facebook groups for everything. So, I mean, you can literally find, if your target audience is on Facebook, you can find a lot of information in Facebook groups. And to add it a step further, if you are
as they're asking questions, because you can't pitch your services and your products in a lot of these groups, but you can answer questions. If people are asking questions, you can answer those questions. And what you're looking for is patterns. You're looking for people asking the same types of questions, people complaining about the same kinds of things, or misconceptions that people have in these groups. Those are what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And to take it another step further, you want to search for those keywords, and you can start doing some search engine optimization from you just being a fly on the wall in these Facebook groups. Because as people are asking questions, you're going to see people are asking the same kinds of questions. So your content needs to be based on that. And then searching Google, use the keyword planner and find out what people are searching for in Google as it relates to the same questions that people are asking in the group. Then you can create a more holistic approach to your content marketing.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. You've got this year-long topic outline or topic plan, and then you've got the outline of each one generally, and then you're in these groups listening, so you can iterate. I'm assuming you can kind of adapt this as it goes along if something is much more relevant.
Changes.
And
yeah, absolutely. We had to do that with the pandemic, for example, because we had calendars. And when the pandemic hit, naturally, we're not going to be talking about the same thing. So it can always be tweaked and things like that. But it could be changed.
And so I'd imagine that's an equivalent if you are seeing the focus of your audience in different spaces, LinkedIn groups, Instagram. Are you TikToking? Is that a space? I don't know. Is that?
I'm personally not TikToking, but I should be. I probably should be.
Really? Okay.
Cool, I probably should be. I mean, my thing is go where your target audience is. So if they're there, go there. Like
absolutely.
If you're focused on millennials and that's where they are, that's where you need to be as well. Wherever they are is where you need to be.
Yeah, it's a really important piece as well, not only focusing on this inbound, that there is some outbound kind of marketing, going where they are, getting into those groups, listening to them. Do you have a system for how you do that, or is it literally the grind? 20 minutes a day, you got to be there, you got to put in the time, not get distracted by the cat videos on the feed over there, and just stay focused and kind of listen in. And then I guess over time you just start seeing these patterns. Is that kind of what it's like, or is there?
Yeah. So for the Facebook groups, this is what I usually suggest to our customers, because their target audience is on Facebook. So I usually suggest that they go into Facebook and forums as well. Forums is also good as well. So I usually suggest that they go in and spend like 10 to 20 minutes per day and listen to what people are talking about. And then also, as I was mentioning before, comment on things that if you can answer questions, answer those questions, and have your Facebook page should be all decked out. Exactly what you do, easy to find you, easy information, so that eventually what happens is if they see you answering questions often enough, they will raise their hands and say, oh, can you help me with, I'm trying to buy a house or whatever it is you're trying to sell. And that's how you get them. But then you can add on to that by doing Facebook ads, by doing the SEO, as I was mentioning. But that's just a baseline start.
Yeah, reaching out to them where they are.
And if you don't know where they are, just to find out exactly what they are talking about, what they're complaining about. For me, we are not in Facebook groups because our ideal customer is on LinkedIn. So we have a whole strategy on LinkedIn because a lot of our clients come from LinkedIn. So our strategy is not the Facebook groups. That's usually what we recommend our clients to.
And in the LinkedIn space, we're currently doing some testing. So we base all of our decisions at Clearbrand around data. What is the A/B test revealing? What are the leads and sales that are coming out of this effort? And so we're in LinkedIn at the moment doing some testing and doing some outbound. What have you found there that's really working?
I've been on about 60 podcasts this past year.
Wow.
That has come from LinkedIn. That's come from LinkedIn. My VA will find the podcast for me that she thinks I'll be a good fit on. I'll reach out to the host on LinkedIn, and that's how I've been getting on podcasts, because I use this for content.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that LinkedIn's worked really well with podcasts. For our clients, what we do is we have a cold outreach campaign that we do, as well as every day I take 20 minutes and I have Sales Navigator, and I have groups and notifications. So anytime people that are anytime anyone at a financial institution that's like a marketing executive, I've got like a whole list of occupations that they're in charge of content. Anytime they post on Facebook, I'll spend 20 minutes a day and I comment on their post. Commenting allows people to actually see exactly what you do so that they can click on your LinkedIn profile and possibly contact you if they need your services. So liking is great, but commenting is better because then everybody who sees your comment automatically sees what you do. So it's good to have your LinkedIn profile, optimized so that it's easy for people to see exactly what you do.
Yeah,
so that's what I do.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, and then I post often as well. So that helps people to find me and know me. And I connect with people every single day on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So that's all we do.
I feel like it's so interesting. We were talking about copywriting and we ended up in kind of lead generation, right? And they go together. There's this, that adage of if we upload it, they will come. Not true, right?
Well, not true. No, you've got to go to them. I always say you've got to give first. You've got to go to their party before you invite them to your party, which is your website, which is your house.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
kind of like how I put it. Go to them first.
Yeah,
and provide value.
And I think there's something, again, we're quite old fashioned at Clear Brand, how we approach marketing, and kind of slow and steady, and want to build greatness over a longer period of time than something flash in the pan. And
that's good.
Just this idea of yours that it's a year commitment, because how long it takes to dial in that language, dial in that value. Okay, so we've got this focus, and you've mentioned that a couple times, so focusing on this target audience. How do we know when we're reaching the edges of this focus, and how do we increase? Do we want to increase that focus more broadly, or what is the thinking there around how long we stay focused? Where
it depends what your end goal is. So you kind of have the goal and then work backwards. So depending on how many, it depends on what the goals of the institution are. And we always have to test. So anytime we're writing content, there's got to be call to actions. Like what do we want them to do? Do we want them to subscribe? Do we want them to call you? Do we want them to fill out a form? Like, what is the objective that you're trying? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to generate more mortgage leads? All right. So then we have to write content around how we can generate more mortgage leads. So it's working if you're getting more mortgage leads, if people are calling, if people are subscribing, if people are,
there's that data.
People are doing call to action. That's the data. You have to always be testing. And there's many ways to do this, but that's the gist of how you know if it's working, if they are doing the call to action that you've set out in the content that you're writing.
Yeah, absolutely. Has there been anything that's really surprised you in terms of, you launched out Varci Media, you're testing something, and then a variable comes out of left field, or something that you didn't expect, or anything like that comes to mind in this journey that you've been through with the copywriting and helping your clients? The
journey in the business has been I think the surprise is more for like running a business more so than there hasn't really been surprises in terms of the customers. I mean,
how they interact with the content.
It's more running a business that has been a lot of, because again, I don't come from that background. So I think really running a business is just the stamina that's needed, the mental stamina that's needed to keep going. There's ebbs and flows, and having staff and having to deal with, clients. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And it's definitely, it's not for everyone, but I would say there were more surprises with running Varci Media than the clients.
The actual servicing of the clients. Yeah,
absolutely.
I remember there was an interview with Elon Musk, and the interviewer said, "Elon, you've been a successful serial entrepreneur. Have you got any words of encouragement for young entrepreneurs out there?" And Elon, in this classic Elon way, looked at her and said, "If you need encouragement, don't become an entrepreneur."
Don't become an it's true. Like, and I'm not anywhere near Elon Musk, but the mental stamina that you need is insane. Like, you can't. It's insane. And I'm only 8 years into this business. So I mean, you could only imagine the stuff that Elon has to
Yeah.
deal with. And he's so right. If you need self-motivation, it's the wrong it's just easier to get a job.
So,
It's easier to get a job.
oh yeah. No, I mean it is. I've got so much respect. It's something that we like at Clearbrand, that the vast majority of our team members have actually run their own businesses at some point, and we kind of have this internal joke of that when you quit a job, you're basically firing your boss, right? That's basically what's happening.
Yes.
And so yeah, we seem to attract entrepreneurs, which is I think useful, because it's, not needing to do that much motivation, because they're getting up and they're doing the doing. So you're focused on financial institutions. Is there?
Yes.
Have you had thoughts of stepping outside of that space? Is this kind of where you're doubling down? What are your thoughts on that?
We didn't start servicing financial institutions at the beginning. We were servicing everybody. So we kind of came to financial institutions because it's my background, and it's easier to niche down than to write for everybody. Because what I found was, when we first started, we were writing for pretty much any industry. So to find writers that were good at writing for many different industries was very difficult. We also wrote for search engine optimization companies. So that's why we're more familiar with SEO and stuff like that, because we've written for a lot of agencies. But again, we're running into the same thing, because a lot of agencies write for multiple industries. So it was just, I found writing for being more niche allowed us to be able to serve our clients at a higher level, because now we're just hiring financial writers. And again, my background is in financial. Like, I remember we were writing for medical doctors. I don't know anything about that. So it was technical. Data so it made it lawyers. We wrote for lawyers. So now, because we're just focused on financial institution, and I've got like 16 years experience working in the industry, so it makes it a lot easier, and we can go deeper with our clients. And that's the reason why we just decided to, and again, it makes it easier for me to hire, because we're only hiring a specific type of writer.
So there was a word that popped in there, niche, and we're all about kind of that clarity that comes from using shared language. And I think the word niche, it gets thrown around so much, so I'd be curious how you define niche, and how it's been useful in, as you say, getting this kind of depth that you're talking about.
So niche to me is a particular industry. So like, we write for financial institutions, and even that, we could even go deeper with that. We don't write for all financial institutions, because we don't write for insurance companies. It's mainly banks, credit unions, and mortgage companies. So niche is just a particular, group in the market. Particular focus, versus just everybody.
Right.
So it's focusing on a particular segment of the market. Is really how I define niche, and it's easier in my opinion, because you can go deeper in terms of getting to know who they are. Working with multiple niches is a little bit harder, just because you have to get to know each of them very, very well. And at the end of the day, the more you know your clientele, the better you are able to serve them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of this trickle down. It's like, you knowing your clients, you're helping them know their clients. Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you've kind of doubled down in the financial industry space into credit unions, banks, and mortgage lenders. That was the
mortgage companies.
Mortgage companies. And what is it about insurance? Is that just a different kind of space, or?
It is. It's much different. There's and insurance. There's so many different kinds of insurance as well. So insurance is large. There's car insurance, house insurance. I mean, there's life insurance. There's so many different kinds of insurance that we just haven't ventured into that space.
And then, okay, so let's say one of our listeners is a young copywriter that is wanting to get noticed by a Varci Media. How do they start to kind of build up to the point that you would consider hiring them? What do they need to be doing to develop to the kind of skill set that you're looking for in your company?
Yeah, we only hire financial writers. So our writers are either ex-bankers, ex-credit union employees, or they've just been writing in that space for a number of years. It's very important to understand the products, like the mortgage products. So that's the reason why we hire financial writers, because it's very important to understand the lineup of products that banks have or credit unions have, because it's the learning curve to learn about these things is it's a lot. So we want them to have a base understanding of mortgage products, of bank products, before they come to us, because we're pretty much starting them and they've got to go. The learning curve to learn about the products, especially the basic products, we want you to have that level of understanding already, because a lot of the stuff we write is going deeper than just the regular 4 tips to get a mortgage. Oftentimes we're going deeper. And some of the institutions are getting into crypto now. So there's got to be a base level of understanding before.
It's something in the marketing space that I'm quite intrigued by. This parallel in language. You're talking about invest in your marketing, but when you talk about investing in financial terms, there's all sorts of regulation. There's all sorts of, as you say, you got to have this technical, deep understanding of these products and the implications of promises and all these other things. You get into the marketing space, and here's this guy talking about, well, guaranteed this, and it's definitely going to happen there, and this, that. So I think it's something that we're at ClearBrand really trying to educate around, as well as like expectation management. Again, looking back to this timeline that you proposed. Is Varci Media going to kind of out into different spaces, or you found your happy zone and this is where you're gonna stay focused?
I don't know if we'll go. We may do fintech, because we've been approached by a few fintech companies. So and fintech is still kind of in our wheelhouse, because it's more just financial technology. That area. But in terms of just kind of going out and just doing a completely different industry, I rather just go deeper with our clientele, like offer more services to them. I think that would be an easier approach than to learn a completely different industry from scratch, because there's so many other things we can do. Like we've got a client out in Texas, and we wrote like an ebook for them. We've written manuals for them. So, and it's easier to do that because we've written so much content, and they focus on medical students. So we already know their audience so well that it's easier to write other things for them. So it would make more sense for a business sense to just go deeper with our clients and offer them more services than go to it, because that's a longer learning curve than to start writing social media posts for our clients, or writing ebooks, manuals, and things.
It's a natural kind of segue.
Yes.
And so this junior copywriter, or this copywriter that is joining Varci Media, there's this technical skill set that has to be top tier, understanding these financial products. In terms of the writing, is there something that you found that really connects to readers in a certain way? A framework, an approach to writing that you use? Do you have something like that?
Yeah, so that's usually in the outline that we create. Now, it's different for different clients, because it's based on who they're targeting. The content will always resonate if you're addressing a pain point. And to make it engaging, we ask questions we make it conversational. So like how we're having a conversation, we'll ask them questions. There'll be internal links. Sometimes there'll be video to break up the content. There'll be graphics. The content is made engaging so that the eye stays on the page. So it's a little more, we want them to stay on the page as long as possible so that their page gets ranked if we're writing for SEO. In order to do that, we've got to add things that will make it more engaging by adding video. Some of the posts will add some audio. We've done infographics inside of the post. We'll add graphics inside of the post. It keeps them engaged, and we'll add internal links. So if they want more information on a particular, subheading, they can click that link so they stay on the website longer. But video is great. Video is very good for engagement. So that gets added into some of the content as well. As you see from the cat videos and all this. I mean, it's engaging.
Yeah.
Watching, right? So so that gets added into the blog post at times.
And then, do you work with your clients around helping them make that video, or are they supplying kind of transcripts and your team is creating it, or?
No, we don't create video. We're strictly just the written word.
Okay,
cool. Video would be, these are just suggestions because we do consulting as well.
Yeah,
so these
and then you've got partnerships that, guys can get.
Yes, exactly. You got it. Okay. So, so we would work with them and tell them what they can put. Some of our clients, they've got a whole marketing team. We're just the content portion, and then they add it after. So they already know that. So they will add it after, and then I'll see it on their website. And it's great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool to kind of see your content out there and see the engagement it's getting.
I love that.
So do you have you got you consider Varci Media one of your clients, I'd assume, and then you got this system rolling for yourselves that you're rolling for these other clients out there to keep yourselves growing at the same time? Is that, kind of the frame that you're mapping out your own content a year in advance with outlines and getting your writers to produce that content for Varci Media? Yeah.
Yes, so we do that as well as for our social media posts. So we have a team of people that actually, I've got a few assistants that help me with the content. The writers will write the blog posts, but I've got a team that helps me with social media. I've got some assistants that help me with. I have a specific writer that helps me with the social media posts. But in terms of like the commenting, I typically do that. I have not outsourced that. I do that, but the social media posts, I do have help with our LinkedIn posts.
We are always, we're currently looking for this data on social media because there doesn't seem to be like a really definitive, this much investment of time and effort will result in this or that. So have you seen anything around using or leveraging social media? I know for the targeting on audience understanding, you made that clear, but is there a certain approach that you've had that seems to get a better return on, as you say, these call to actions, which is what we're tracking, right? As opposed to kind of just generally building a name, a following.
That's such a good question because it's difficult because we get clients from cold outreach as well as from posting, as well as from commenting. But the majority of because when I look at the KPIs, the majority of our clients have come from cold outreach. They have not come from the posting or the commenting in comparison to the cold outreach. Because I notice with the cold outreach, then they look at my profile, like automatically. They automatically look at my profile. We've got enough testimonials. Like I've got so much information on my profile that it's enough for them to determine whether or not they like us. And then they can go to our website and check us out even more. But I find that with LinkedIn, and then I've had some posts go viral and all that kind of stuff. I've had quite a few posts go viral actually, but if your audience is not on LinkedIn at the time you post, and if LinkedIn doesn't show it to them, so I find that's why I do that with cold outreach. Because I just find
that's all great, but you can only control. I'm hitting them from
I can control the cold outreach. I can't control the I can't control when I post. And then we've tested so many things. Like we used to post like 20 times a day to see how, we used to post all the time to see, if it makes a difference, right? Between, posting 20 times a day versus posting 10 and we have found that it doesn't. And that's just, that's just
that nugget, if
it doesn't,
just hearing that puts my heart at ease because I'm running the LinkedIn outreach and I'm like, I gotta schedule these posts. I gotta get them out there. Okay, great. So that's good to know.
This is what I found. I have found that, and again, this is just our analytics. We do not do testing for social media for our clients. So I can't give you numbers. I can only give you numbers on what Varci Media has done. So I have found that creating quality content because we've had quality content that has gone viral and then we posted 20 times a day. The content that has gone viral versus the 20 posts that we post per day, the quality content has gotten more reach because LinkedIn will show you how many views and all that kind of stuff. So the quality content has gotten way more reach, way more views, way more clicks, way more comments than posting that many times per day. And that actually came from one of my assistants is a LinkedIn expert, which is why we hired him. So he that came from him, because before we hired him, we were doing 20 posts per day. And he came in and he's like, no, this is what you've got to do. This is what will attract. And then I actually will go through and see if my ideal customer is actually liking and commenting on my posts to see the reach as well. And I just find it's way better to do that. So it's more quality versus quantity. I have found on LinkedIn for us that works. That works
man,
better.
that's super interesting. That quality over quantity. And at the end of the day, I think, we can get kind of lulled into this false sense of there's just a megaphone and everyone's listening. It's like, no, there's an individual behind every one of those profiles, and they're a human being. I mean, there's bots. We know that.
We know that, yeah.
But there was this classic meme that I saw on LinkedIn recently. It was I think it was the post was me opening up my inbox on LinkedIn, and it was like this guy like running with a bear behind him, like all of these. Hey, do you want to maximize your sales KPI?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Man. So yeah, that cold outreach, and I think what we found in our outreach is just clarity. It's just, why are you contacting me? Not, hey, I'm liking your post, insert generic post here. What do you do on the weekends? Oh, by the way, I'm actually trying to sell you something. And what we've found is this is why I'm contacting you. This is what we do. Okay, cool. You're not ready? Great. Well, by the way, here's something that I think you'd find valuable. Great. I'll check back with you if it's useful. That real, and again, like you've kind of said, that serving, just going out and listening and serving. We base a lot of our understanding on, as I said, the data behind marketing, and there's that 95-5 rule, that only 5% of your customers are ready to buy right now.
Yes.
Only 5% of LinkedIn are ready to like jump on your offer right now. The rest of them, there's this value building that happens.
Absolutely. Like it's a whole entire, because and we do the exact same thing you just mentioned when we're doing the cold outreach. It's more, like we give out our checklist, we give out our guide. And then we get their email address, and then we'll, that gets added to the drip campaign. But a lot of people aren't. I've had people, we've been sending them stuff for 2 years, and now they became a client. So, and that's all automated. So I don't don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. I'm getting your emails, so I'm reading them too. I'm in there.
So it's so it's just it's marketing. It's definitely marketing, and it's a long game. It's a long game.
Yeah, absolutely. I live in a very small town, so I live in South Africa, outside of Cape Town, and I live in a town that's got 500 people in it or something like that. And I'm blown away by the short-term thinking of local service providers, whether it's like they'll try and rip you off for $50. And then you're like, dude, I'm still here 10 years later, and I've never done business with you because you're the guy that tried to rip me off. And it's the same online. It's nobody. It is this long-term relationship to be in. What a wonderful conversation. So LinkedIn, anything else that you've got to say? Because I know that so many people on LinkedIn using this service. You mentioned Sales Navigator. Is that something worth investing in? Have you found good returns on that? Absolutely,
100%. It's worth. I don't even know how much it is now. Maybe $100 a month. I think when I got it, was like I think they keep increasing the price. I think when I got it, it was like $60 or $70. I think it's like $100 now, because we've gotten it for some of our sales team too. But I think Sales Navigator is a game changer in my opinion, because it allows you to reach out to more people. It allows you to segment the people. You can create lists. I mean, it allows you to see exactly when your you can get notified when your target audience comments, because that's a strategy we use. We want to, that's just part of being in conversation. You want to be in conversation and engage. And we've gotten clients that way. people see us, and I think, and we partner with people too. Like we've partnered with a few companies and gotten business, and they just saw me online. I also use hashtags as well. So hashtags is good because when people are searching for a particular, we use financial writers, we'll use credit union writers, bank writers. When people are searching for what you do on LinkedIn, you want to use hashtags so that it's easy to find you as well. You also want to use hashtags in your profile. Like you can check out my profile like that. I took LinkedIn courses to
amazing.
To do
I'm going to go and check out I'm definitely checking out your profile. I just redid mine, so it's probably due for a revamp. And that's, that's just saying how fast the learning curve is on these platforms. Like
I recommend, if you want tips on LinkedIn, I only have about, I think 10,500 followers, but at the same time, I took LinkedIn, I took an amazing LinkedIn course, and I learned how to write my profile and how to put things in the featured section so that when people come to your site, they can see, make it easy for people to see exactly what you do and how you can help them. So I have it all written out, and that was really from a LinkedIn course that I took.
Yeah. I think, I've heard stories of these kind of appointment setter teams that are just kind of spamming people out there, and, they're using your name. Companies are paying these guys, and again, it's just not this relationship. Again, I'm nervous of that word relationship because just again, in the language, we've got this perspective on kind of brand loyalty. Like when you go to the shops and you need toothpaste, if your brand isn't there, toothpaste will be bought. Like toothpaste is going to be bought if it's not there. They have a preference, and they've got a habit, and they've got this kind of connection in the past that makes decision making easy. But that's because you've seen them so often, though. Like I buy Colgate just because I've seen Colgate everywhere. Yeah. It's ingrained in my brain, the red box. Like I see them everywhere. So naturally I like it. It keeps my breath fresh. It brushes my teeth. It does the job.
It does the job.
Yeah. It's the bridge. The bridge from the problem to the solution is there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have brand awareness. They have brand awareness because they're always in your face.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of kind of psychology and the way the brain works. And at the end of the day, you can reduce it down to the simplicity of burning kilojoules. Like we're built to survive, and we don't like making complex decisions if we don't have to. So red one there, boom. A couple 10,000 years ago, it was red cherry, not green cherry, red cherry. Now it's Colgate, red cherry.
Yes. I agree.
Well, amazing. I didn't expect a LinkedIn masterclass. That's a definite added bonus, and I'm looking forward to following you there, picking up on on what you're doing there. That's getting great results.
Yes, thank you.
Is there anything else you want to cover? I feel like it's been a great conversation, and anything your side that you'd like to bring back in? I know people want to know where to find you, so we'll cover that, but specifically on the copywriting, business, LinkedIn.
Yeah, I would just finish with just recapping that you always want to start with your audience. Who are they, and what do they want, and what do you have that can help them? We're in this business to serve our customers, and the more people we serve, the more successful we are. So that's the main point of content, in my opinion, is just to how can you serve people through content is our motto. Like how can we serve you through our content? And that's what we do for our clients as well.
Oh man, it's the simplest truths that are the most powerful. Who is my audience? What do they need? And how do I help them? Really great and simple. Okay, where do we find you? Where do we follow you? I want to get you up to 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. Come on.
Thank you. Yeah, my handle is Shondell Varciana, pretty much everywhere. But yeah, LinkedIn is where I'm most frequent. Facebook, my audience is not really on Facebook. So LinkedIn is where I kind of post a lot of the content stuff. But yeah, Shondell Varciana at LinkedIn. My website is varcimedia.com. You can reach out to me there as well on the contact page. I'm very accessible.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Shondell. It has been a masterclass. Really, really great to talk to you. I look forward to having you back talking to us about your 20,000 followers milestone and all the ways in which Varci Media are going from strength to strength. Thank you again for being with us. Any final words before we wrap up?
It's been great. Go out there and make some content and be consistent.
Oh, nice. Just a little cherry on top at the end there. Be consistent. Love that. So thank you so much for being with us on the Clear Brand Academy podcast, both you, Shondell, and you, our listener. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Clear Brand Academy podcast, where we take the mystery out of marketing and help you get more leads and sales with a clear brand and proven marketing tactics. If you liked this podcast, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to outsource your marketing to our team, go to clearbrand.com.